Ya lehi haniki han dona lo ya hiota kapi kidena yuha chantewashtea na pechiuza pelo. Ya awashichia Peter Hill and Matthew Rama ya lakhotia ya inshe dona slomaya pi na lakhotia pi hena otachcha hekcha paha emachiapi. Na kholawai kileki chi lakhotia pi ogach damichapi Owawa el washe chunkumpi. Naha le itchancha washe chun. Na mie inch wa krenjaki wa unspewi chawaki na wa waki na wa beluyeska na dokelawaki hika hechia woilag michie. Honaha lechia aine ungichopi naha wogalake gach unshipi cha he unlila wopila tchanka ungeki apelo lila uyuani hampelo. My name is Peter Hill, and with my colleague here, Matt, we work with Lakota Immersion Childcare. It's a full-time, full immersion daycare program for children ages 18 months through 5 years old, located in Ogallala, South Dakota on the Pine Ridge Reservation. And we have 20 children. We have, between our full-time and part-time staff, we have eight staff, and we've been in existence. This is the start of our 4th year. And Matt's gonna be primarily presenting. So I'm just kind of killing time while we get set up. So, you set up?
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, and thank you to Aine for having us here. It's a real honor to be here.
Okay, my name's Matt Rama. No one asked me if we could start a half hour early. I mean, I wasn't mentally prepared. I still have 30 minutes of preparation, mental preparation to get ready to go. So if I'm a little off my game, it's not my fault. Okay, so like you said, we're from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, Oglala, Lakota. It was a while back, and we went to a conference, and I was passively learning Lakota, and Peter was already fluent, and we thought, man, it sure would be cool to have a daycare in Pine Ridge. That'd be awesome. Wouldn't it be awesome? Yeah, it'd be awesome. So we talked about it, and well, we should do it. Yeah, we should do it. And we went back to our jobs, and I'm a teacher, and at that time he was working at the school, and then all of a sudden he said, oh, I'm quitting my job and I'm starting the daycare. I said, okay. So I said, well, at that time my wife was pregnant, and we were getting ready to have a child, so I said, well, I have to finish working, because we do need to pay the bills, and then I'll come in June, and me and the baby will come, and we'll work the daycare with you. And that's how the daycare started. And so we didn't start with anything. We didn't have anything. So, I mean, we didn't have any money. We raised the money. We raised the money for people's checks weeks to weeks. And we really had we talk about a limited budget. We had a limited budget. A limited budget. So, but before we get started, I want to get you in the right mindset. I want to take you to our daycare. This is just a couple quick shots. I'm not a technology person, so it's not like professionally done or anything, but it's just a couple shots of a day at the daycare here. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you because I know that the reason that we're all here is that we want our children to become speakers and to be able to have our ancestral language, and that's important to us. So I wanted to get your minds there. So what we did is we started off and we didn't have any money, and so Peter said, well, we want to have parent language lessons because the average age of a speaker on Pioneers Reservation is 68. It's the average age so none of the kids' parents speak Lakota. None of them are fluent speakers. So we're going to have parent meetings. So I said, okay, let's do that. And then he didn't really tell me too much about how they've been going. So we scheduled the first parent meeting, and we had 0 participants. 0. And my own wife didn't even come. So it was really, really disheartening. So we said, well, let's keep talking about it, and we'll get more people here the next time. So we scheduled our second one 2 weeks later, and we have 1 parent come. So it was like 100% success in that way, that we had a big increase, but still not what we were looking for. At that time, we had 5 kids. So I started thinking, we would buy food, so we're spending about $75 every 2 weeks to buy food. And I was like, this is a waste of money and a waste of time. I mean, people are very busy, and they don't, they want their children to learn Lakota, but they feel like that they don't have time, or they have a basketball game, or they have whatever that they can't be there. So what we decided to do, I started looking online for this is the very first technology thing that we did for online technology, and we found a thing called MindFlash. And so we started using MindFlash. We created our first courses, and so I'm going to take you to one of the courses to show you how we did that. Let's see here, 9. Okay, and this is a real simple program. I mean, like I said, I don't have the knowledge base, or we don't have the time to create things ourselves from scratch. So we have to find things that are already created and that are financially something that we can use. So we started using this with our parents. This one's commands. We create a PowerPoint. It says the word. You can't hear that very good, but it says the word. Takes them through a series. And it goes like that. There's different ways that males and females speak in Lakota. I'm sure some of your languages are the same, but there's different ways. So try to model both sides. And then at the end, we have a chance where they can review what they have. And then I try to always do like a little video. Estima. Kikta yo, Ruti kikta. Kikta, inaji. Ruti inaji. Wana iglahom niyo. Sicha yo, sicha. Ianka. Wash there. So then we have a video that we try to include a child. People like to know that their children are learning. And then we have a quiz. And the quiz, they have to have a 70% on the quiz to pass. And we do charge a fee, and we waive some of the fee as long as they pass their quiz every week. And we've had 100% participation since then. So this has been a really good tool for us. It was simple. We have like 50-some lessons now. We do one every week. Some months we take off in the summer. People are busy, but during the school year we have one every week, and we'll continue to go as the kids get older, and then hopefully the parents are starting to learn some Lakota and use at home. So that was our first.
This is the sound.
Oh, okay.
If you want to plug it into the headphones section.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not a technology guru, but this doesn't look like it fits into the things. No. So. Okay, we'll keep moving on. So that was the first thing we did with technology. It was very feasible for us. So instead of buying food, we bought the technology, and we've had a really good participation with the parents. Can you put this on here? So the next thing, we go back to the daycare, and like I said, we were struggling at that time to make ends meet, and so I was working at the school, the local school, doing after-school language lessons. And so I had fourth graders and third graders, and my son was in the class, and they're real active kids, and so we wanted to do. You gotta put this in here. Put that one in that one, so it goes in there. So and I knew that the school had apps because I'd already been teaching there, so I knew that they had iPads. So I was like, I wonder if we could find an app that would work, that we could use. I mean, it'd be cool to create an app, but I don't have that type of knowledge or that kind of funding. So I wonder if there's already some apps that exist that we could use. And the very first app that we found that we started using at the school was Bitsboard. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with Bitsboard. It's a flashcard app. Okay, it's a flashcard app, and it allows you to create lessons and then to track the lessons. And it's real simple to make, and you can share them on multiple iPads. So once we created a lesson, anybody could use that lesson. So like other local schools could use the lessons. Anybody that wanted to buy Bitsboard, it's pretty cheap, it's like $10 an app. They could use that. So we started using Bitsboard, and so let's see here. Oops. So it has different games. Now this is Bitsboard preschool. There's also a Bitsboard, just a regular Bitsboard, which is for older kids. This is just for preschool. That's why it has like the numbers you have to punch in so the kids just can't go out of the apps or start surfing. It has a flashcard app, and then inside that app, it shows the picture and says the app.
Ishtamaza.
And you can also record your voice. Ishtamaza. Ishtamaza. That's a big fun thing to do all the time. So.
Hampa.
Then it has, this is one of our testing tools.
Huyaku.
We feel like people are starting to get to a point where they're learning, they can do these. And there's a variety of games. There's actually like 13 games, I think, total. We're using 7 right now in the preschool, but it's a way that we're still could to keep it active while we weren't teaching, and to keep Lakota a part of their life all the time. And it was also something that the parents could use at home, or the kids could use at home, because I'm sure that all of you, like they said earlier, your children all use iPhones and iPads and all those kind of things. So that was a simple thing that we could do that didn't take a lot of time. So I was really excited about it, and I was brought it to the daycare, and we started doing it, and the kids were really excited about it. And about 4 days later, they weren't so excited about it anymore. It was already boring. So I was like, wait a second here. And so then I really started getting more, I was like, I want the whole iPad to be Lakota. Like, I want just like, when my daughter takes up her iPad, I want everything to be on it Lakota. You know, I want it to be like, that's how it's going to operate. So we started finding other apps that you can manipulate. This is one of my daughter's favorites apps. She's 2 years old.
Shunka. Kukushe. Tchokala.
So that's one of the apps that we got and we manipulated. They have a whole series, Peekaboo, that you can manipulate that has different kinds of vocabulary. And so all of these, and so then I was like, but then I was already running out of apps already. Like I was like, I can't find anything else to manipulate. So, and we were looking for things to do in the daycare, and we did TPR and, you know, sit down, stand up, but we still weren't talking about everything that you do inside of your life. Like, how do you talk about How do you talk about go to bed? How do you talk about go to the refrigerator and grab these things? We weren't getting all the vocabulary that we needed, so we started using. What I did was I Googled the top apps for preschoolers, and then I found these apps, and there's a whole series: My Play Home, My Play School, and what this allowed us to do was to start teaching. So we started using this as teaching, and then they could play with it later, hopefully with the idea that they're using the language in their mind. So we'll enter the living room, and at that point, everybody has their iPads, and we use an Apple TV and a TV so that they can see too. But then we start giving them directions. So we got kaknikayo, choose the woman. Okay, so she's gonna sit on the chair, and we start doing things like that. And hoganki, we talk about feed the fish, and turn on the TV. We teach them yuileo, and start doing those kind of things. This goes all the way through a kitchen, has a bathroom, and it really gave us the opportunity to start talking about vocabulary that we hadn't been using inside the daycare, and that's vocabulary from home. And so it was real positive, and then we found some other apps that were like that don't have any speaking on them. The Toka Town ones, the supermarket Mr. Panda Bear, Elmo Potty, that's my daughter's, but so we used all those, and those are real helpful and beneficial. We found this one, Quizmaker, too. Just trying to have a variety of things for them to do that are all in the language. Oh, maybe this one's not going to work. And the latest one that we just found that we haven't really started using, but I know that we're about to use as we get ready we're going to have a kindergarten, is My Story. And it allows you to do the same thing. We haven't made a book yet, but it allows you to make books, put your voice into it. It has all kinds of clip art that you can take off as we start getting prepared for our school and to make sure that we have an adequate amount of books for our kids. So here's another one. So, okay, let me give me a second here. I'm going to switch back to the computer. So here's a picture. Here's someone using one of the apps. This is Bitsport app. She's just using it for her teacher. So you can get the idea of that. And
Shushula, where's Shushula? Oh. Tatokala. Igloo. Igloo. Oh, cow. Shukbala. Kadabelashka. Babelashka.
she wasn't big on getting filmed. They just woke up from nap.
Yay!
They just woke up from nap, and I said, "Here, come, we're gonna film something." And Antoine, I woke up a little bit earlier, so he was in a better mood. But so you give you an idea of what we did with those apps, and it really gave us an opportunity to keep the language alive all the time, even when we're not in instruction time or when it's downtime. So I was feeling pretty excited about that, and then it got to winter, and it was getting cold, and kids couldn't go outside, and we'd have an hour of, I don't know what you want to call it, but craziness. We had an hour of craziness when they couldn't go outside because of the snow. So every morning my wife would fix my daughter's hair, and we have two of them, and they would and we watch the baby channel. It's a baby channel, like it's kind of like a Sesame Street for people from my time. It's like a Sesame Street that has little short videos and stuff. And I was thinking, man, we need something like that for the daycare, because I'm sure it's a lot like your languages. There's nothing created in Lakota, nothing. It isn't like Spanish or something where we can go and get on the internet and find stuff. We can't find anything. So I was like, it'd be nice if we could have something that they could watch to kind of keep them calm, and it wouldn't be so crazy in here during this hour. So I had also taught in high school, so I knew some kids that were kind of talented from around the res, and we still were on a very limited budget. And so I said, hey, would you be interested in making a movie, like a little short movie? And I told them my Sesame Street idea, and they said, sure. So this was our very first video. This was 5 months ago that we made this. That it went up.
Shunka.
I bet you can guess what a shunka is, huh?
Shunka. Shunka. Shunka Tranka. Shunka Chikala. Shunka Yokipi. Shunka Euro. Shunka Lochin. Shunka Shkehan. Shunka. Shunka.
So that was our first video that we did. And that was posted 5 months ago. And then we went on. And when that was created, I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. Because like I said, there was nothing. We didn't have anything. And so we had Shunka, and we watched it 250 times in the daycare. Like, you know, everybody knew every word to Shunka. But then we moved on, and and she's gotten more ideas. And like I said, she's not a professional person. She's just like nowadays anybody can create things. She actually didn't even have a camera. She used her iPhone. And so, like, here's one of her more recent ones, and you'll get the idea.
Wamak hashkan hotrumpi. Shunka ki hando kelshna hotrumhuo. Igamuki hando kelshna hotrumhuo.
Meow.
Ptegaleshka ki hando kelshna hotrumhuo. Shunka wa khanki hando kelshna hotrumhuo.
Nay.
Kukushe ki hando kelshna hotrumhuo. Krokoyach anaki hando kelshna hotrumhuo.
Bark, bark. Bark, bark, bark.
So then, so we've progressed, and I was feeling very excited, and then we started watching, and I was thinking, well, why can't we do an animation? There's got to be like some kind of animation program that's simple enough that we could do. I mean, so I started searching around for animation stuff, and I found a program called Go Animate. And so I asked this lady that was doing this if she could do this, and there was another local girl that was pretty good in graphic design in high school, and she actually goes to college now at UNM. And I said, well, would you be interested in having a part-time job instead of working at Starbucks? We'll give you a part-time job, and you can help put these together, these Go Animates. And she said, sure. So we started doing some animation videos. Let me see here. I'll show you a simple one here.
Wanchi, Nupa, Yamini, Dopa, Zapna, Shakve, Shagoi, Shagaloga, Namchilka, Wikchevana. Wanchi, Nupa, Yamini, Dopa, Zapna, Shakve, Shagoi, Shagaloga, Namchilka, Wikchevana.
So that was one of our first animated videos. And then I thought, well, what about doing some songs? You know, they had made a CD, and I called and asked if we could use the songs to do some songs, and they said yeah. So we started doing some songs, and the songs are a hit. Like, I mean, that's like the happiest time of the daycare when the songs come on. That's where you saw those kids dancing. They were dancing to the songs.
Zapta shak pe shako shagaloga napchilka vichevna wajinopa yamni topa zapta shak pe shako shagaloga napchilka vichevna.
And these are all pretty simple, and I was feeling very happy about that. But our older kids are getting to another level of comprehension and speaking, so I said I want some more advanced things. You know, I want where they're really talking and it's like a cartoon. And so here's what she just put up. All the conversation of the daycares lately has been about, what are you going to be for Halloween? I'm going to be this. What are you going to be? So.
Wana idochinki trumpi ambetu. Idochinki trumpi chanashna o shteshtia gigaluzapi. Wa zapi na wokhoyake trokcha gich umbikte. Niesh kalaki chiapi wophika henichakte. Na pchanrizi zi ohinich inkte. Nie pchalgasni wichasha henichakte. Na nakun a da slas nigaluzinkte. Niewa unspewichakia henichakte. Na igamuki lawampi unspewichaya kinkte.
So you get the idea. But my biggest point about all these videos is we didn't have a budget. We didn't have any budget. We just started doing it. Like, I said, well, can you make a video and I'll give you $150 or something small like that. And then she made a video, and then I hired the girl that goes to UNM for minimum wage and said, can you start messing around with this Go Animate? You know, it'll be fun, be a good job. And she started doing that, and now we have 30 videos. So the very first video we put up 5 months ago, and now we have 30 videos in 5 months. And my goal before the next spring is to have 100 videos. That's the goal. So that's how that's going. Okay, so then we have videos, and when it snows, it's not quite as crazy anymore. We have some, the TV kind of keeps them a little more calm or whatever. So we started having to focus. We actually, like I said, our average age of our speaker is 68, and so we're starting a kindergarten and a first grade next year. And we see that there's going to have to be teachers for the future. We do have fluent speakers in our daycare. One of them's 65 and the other's 55. I mean, they don't really want to teach kindergarten. I mean, they enjoy what they're doing, but, we just have to look down the road on what we're able to do. So we started a second language learner. We got some funds raised. We started a second language learner program. And so that's what we started doing, like, how do I say? And so we hired 2 people to do second language learners, and then we actually have some other people that do other jobs that are also learning. So we have about 5 people that are all learning at the same time, and we have some intensive classwork. But we wanted to figure out something that they could do or that I could do when we were at home. And I'm a big iPhone guy. And so I didn't want to make flashcards anymore. I'd mess with some other programs. And the program that I found that works for us is Memrise. It's just like any other flashcard program.
Kachan.
It says the word.
Chatkayata.
And then as you go on, then it has you go English to Lakota, it has you go Lakota to English, it has you
Kachan.
keep saying the word over and over. Now you got to spell it, so you're working on your spelling too. And I think overall we have, how many lessons do we have? We have 125 lessons, and we started that. I mean, when did we start? About 5 months ago? 6 months ago? Less? So we started about 6 months ago, and now we have 100 and some lessons. We expect our second language learners to do these lessons. We kind of have it. At first, we were just doing it like we'll talk about it more on Wednesday, but when we do a How Do I Say lesson, we put vocabulary from the How Do I Say lesson into the Memrise, so that things that you learned, you could go home and do them again. So it wouldn't just be like a one-time vocabulary thing. And it isn't just, we don't just have it. These ones were just words, but we also have them like phrases and sentences and some pretty intense sentences. It's like a more intense one. We have a lot. So you can see, like right here, we're getting into grammar and how sentences are structured. And so it's a good way for us to create something and to also have it that we can use again with somebody else. Because our goal is to get these speakers to fluency, move them into the teaching positions, and then bring in some more second language learners, and to keep moving on. And staying along the second language learners line, then I went to ANA last year, and I went to a session, and it was a Hawaiian session, and they were making like an online program for fluency, and I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, that is so cool. I mean, that is great that they have that. But we didn't have time to do that. They had an ANA grant to do it, so they had 3 years and whatever amount of money they had, and hired professional people to do it. So I was excited about it. So I was like, well, let's we can at least do a couple things here. So we're doing the memorize already, and I'm gonna make I made one of our workers start doing grammar videos. They don't like when I go to conferences because I always come back with all these ideas, and they're like, "Oh no, Matt's going to a conference." So it's along the same lines of same idea.
Lakota grammar. Verbs with and without object. How English verbs differ from Lakota verbs. Read the dialogues below. Notice how the use of the verb to eat differs in the two dialogues. Notice, in the dialogue on the left, the verb to eat is used without an object, while in the dialogue on the right, the verb to eat is used with an object, the fish. Many English verbs can be used with and without an object. Examples are read, study, watch, walk, play, etc. Lakota verbs work differently. Each Lakota verb is strictly reserved for use with or without an object. A Lakota verb that is used with an object will always require an object. A Lakota verb that is used without an object can never have an object.
So you get the idea. It's a whiteboard program.
Lakota verbs are
It's not very expensive, but my idea was that we were going to start putting some of these things down so that when we brought in new learners, that we wouldn't have to, that as we get more spread out and do more things, that we don't have as much time with the learners. Because not only are we doing, we're making the videos, we've been making books, we're running the daycare, we're getting ready to run a kindergarten, and we just have a small pool of people. And so I was like, we should start putting some of these things down so when the next person comes, we have a system. We can show them these things. They can talk to us about it later if they have questions, but we have a system in place. So we have the memorize, and we did these grammar videos. And then, so lately, anytime I get free help, I put them to work. So we got an intern, and she had a couple of skills, and I said, well, let's make this second language. I always thought about that online course for the Hawaiians. And so I said, let's put together a course for us. We have all these memorized lessons. We have all these videos. We could put them all together, and we can make a course. And then our second language learners could come and do them when they're not with us. They could work with that. And then they could come and work with us in language, just talking and stuff. But they always could be doing things, even when they're at home. And so we made our first 4 lessons. It starts with a TPR. So the TPR is filmed, so you can go through the TPR.
Oha, dusty, inashio.
So that's like their first thing that they do, and then they go through. Here they have a little worksheet to do. Here's a song. We always we start every day with prayer. We start every class with prayer song, and we end every class with a prayer song. And we end every day with prayer, so we want the new people to learn a prayer song or start learning prayer songs and Thanksgiving songs. So we do that next. And then we have some of our songs, so they can start learning our songs that we teach at the daycare.
Nata hiete chunk basie, nata.
So you get the idea of that song. I'm sure you heard that. They go through a lesson. This is a little. They listen to. This has an audio to it, so they can start listening to some stuff around their level.
How hankashi lis?
It goes like that. Then we have the grammar. Here's our grammar video. Here's our memorized lessons. And then here's the mind flash. So all the stuff that we've already created, what we kind of do is we've packaged it together for our second language learners. Now with the idea that we don't want them speaking as their main source of learning, but this is like their supplementary learning. we want you to start this on Monday when you have downtime. Instead of looking at Facebook, how about you look at this? And so that's what I always say.
How long would it be to complete one of the modules?
It's supposed to take a week to complete a module. And then at the end it has a quiz. So that's what we've done with technology on our little budget. We haven't existed very long. I don't really do anything. We just try to do things with the thought of like what can make our daycare better, and what can like the picture that we had at the start with the kids. It's like I want them to be able to be Lakota speakers and to be doctors and do whatever they want. So that's how we approach the daycare, with the intent of like, we want to educate you. We want to educate you. We're just using Lakota as a means to educate you. We want you to have a head start in education. We want you to become all these great things, but we're using Lakota as a way to do that. And we want you to have all these experiences so that you feel Lakota is part of your life every day. It's not something that you hear at ceremony or sweat. It's something that you experience as part of your life today and everything that you do. You heard a voice in there a lot. That was Peter's voice. He's in there a lot. Peter actually wrote all that, and so we're very fortunate to have Peter, because, and he's probably another person that doesn't like when I go to conferences, because I'm like, yeah, you got to translate this, and this by tomorrow. We're doing a video. But he's really worked hard on creating all these lessons and all these translations. And so, we really appreciate all the things that he's done. And so if you have any questions, I'll be more than willing to share the things that we have. I think that the stuff that we found, maybe you have things that you have found that are better. I would love to hear about them, because we're always open to try to find something new that we can utilize for our kids, or our parents, our community, for our children. And anything that you feel like that you can use and you're interested in, we'd be more than happy to share with you. And yeah, you have anything? Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of things that came to my mind when we were talking about this. I know that the whole focus of this symposium is on technology, and the idea of technology itself, I know, gets debated a lot in language revitalization and indigenous languages. What should the role of it be? And we really approach it as a tool that, flashcards are a tool. Realia, having models of everyday things or animals, that's a tool. And so we approach these things as how can we use technology to the extent that it can help the children or the adults improve their language skills. We don't rely, even though obviously we have a lot of it and we're focusing on it because it's the theme of the conference. Our primary teaching tool is the people that we have working for us at the daycare. We have native speakers, first language speakers, second language speakers, and so the primary transmission of the language at our program is face-to-face interaction with the speakers and the children. But one thing about having a full-time program, we have kids that arrive as early as 7. We have kids that leave as late as 5. We transition from activities. Our staff has to get some time to eat and sit down and have a breather. And some kids wake up from naps early from others. And so we used to have a lot of kind of dead time during the day where it wasn't really a primary teaching time, and we wanted to be able to have the kids really have Lakota language activities that even during the time that otherwise would have been just kind of, wasted time, or what could we do with these 3 kids who woke up from their naps early. That way they could fill that time with language and supplement what they were hearing in person. Also, as Matt said, it's an opportunity for them to see situations that it's hard to recreate at the daycare. So My Play Home, school, there's one that's a whole store. It's a whole shopping area that they can go and virtually explore these different stores and pick out different things to buy. And they can go to the school, and they can go into the science lab or the gym. And so it's really added to, it's very, very much increased the amount of vocabulary and topics we're able to talk about. And it's also, of course, allowed us to take the language and spread it beyond just the 20 kids that we have at the program and share it far and wide. So for those of you who are interested in, you heard a lot of names of websites and apps and online platforms. If you're interested in, what was that one with the cartoon, and what was that one with the flashcards, we can trade contact information afterwards and give you some information on what platforms we've been using, and give you access to the specific links and specific apps where you can actually find our stuff, even if you're not working in Lakota language, but you can see our stuff as examples of what we've been doing. The other thing I wanted to mention was talking about finances, just to make sure that everyone's kind of clear on the timeline. We kind of talked about not having funding, but then we also have an ANA grant. And the way that it kind of works out is that the ANA grant is what pays for our program to keep running. It pays the salaries of our staff. It pays for the daycare costs and the building upkeep. Everything that Matt's talked about, every multimedia, every app, all of what we've paid to people to help us develop these videos, our books, which we didn't even get a chance to get into. We've got a whole line of Lakota language books, some of which are being developed as e-readers, online books. All of that is not covered by ANA. And so ANA gave us the Administration for Native Americans grant, helps the daycare keep its doors open, which for the first couple of years was, we always had about a month more of funding before we ran out. And actually before we got it, we did close down for a month because we had nothing left to pay our staff. So once we got ANA and once we were secure in the basic operations, then we started branching out into this multimedia, because now we didn't have to worry so much about, paying the light bill and making payroll, and we could look into branching in more areas that we really felt were important for the second language learners, and the multimedia. So we've basically moved ahead of ourselves in terms of starting these programs basically for free, applying for grants and seeking out funding for them as we go, and then as we get funding, telling the people who have been volunteering for us, we can pay you something now. But like probably all of you who are working in this area know, it's very, very rare to have that ahead of time. So we've kind of had to live beyond our means to a certain extent. But one positive outcome of this has been when we were when we were just a daycare, and if I was still running the program, we would just be a daycare. I have to credit Matt for having all these phenomenal ideas for the multimedia. But when we were just a daycare, it was difficult for us to convey what we were doing when we were approaching potential funders and writing grants. It's great when we can show the videos and the pictures of the kids, but when you write a grant application, you rarely get the opportunity to include anything like that. Even our website usually, often wasn't even something we could include. It was just words on paper, this is what we're doing and this is how many kids we have. And a lot of times it was difficult to convey, really convey what we were doing, what a difference we were making, how this was having an impact. And so now that we're actually creating, we're creating videos, we're creating books, we're creating apps and all of this stuff, we've found that it becomes a lot easier to tell that story, even though when it comes down to it, the daycare is still the primary work that we do. A lot of grant-making organizations and a lot of funders are very, very interested in the fact that we're creating these products and the fact that we're making these products freely available and available to the community. And so for those of you who are interested in doing this sort of work, but intimidated as we were by the fact that there's really no funding to do it, the bright side of that we found, and a cause for optimism, is that a lot of it has ended up basically paying for itself. That donors see that we're doing this and they say that's something I want to support. That's something really concrete they can latch on to. So I just wanted to add those couple of things.